Charlotte found the space. In fact, at our last exhibition, which Madeleine Abicoche curated, she suggested to Charlotte that her work would look really good in a greenhouse. And so Charlotte went about looking for a greenhouse, and then found this, and then invited me to join her in the exhibition, which is part of the Brighton Festival. We're the fringe part of the festival. So that's how it came about.
The space, it's not too well managed, which is what really attracted me to it. You know, it's not some extremely smart greenhouse. It's quite natural. Mm. And Felicity's work, for me, is extremely dark. So, you know, like over here, these Parthenon paintings, they have a quick look at them, if you like.
When I was looking at the Parthenon series in the British Museum, and it was all at the time of the Iraqi War and Afghanistan, and so the two became entwined in my mind.
But to me, it's about death. They're coming out of the earth. They're really strong earth colours. They're very dark, and I could just see them along this brick wall. I just thought that they're perfect, and also it's a real change from having paintings hanging, you know. And then with my sculptural work, which in contrast suddenly became quite light and embarrassingly light. Mm. And so I quite like this combination of the air and the earth. I think what's worked quite well with these is that they are plastic, and what would otherwise be thought of really as quite an inorganic substance, despite the fact they come from oil originally. But with the plants, they go really, really well, don't they? And the milk bottle cans, somehow they have that lightness of a garden. They take in light, they move light through the shape. It's the structure of it. It works really well with the plant. So and then we tried to put work together that literally came out of the earth. And it turned out that both of us had been working on faces in our own particular way. Mm. So the figure, but in quite a macabre way. Just so I've got heads and bowls. Felicity's got fragments, and down the other end there's a sort of a graveyard of these fragments distributed across it. And a Judas tree, you know, with these ripped canvases hanging from the tree. It takes painting into a more sculptural avenue, I think.
Yes.
And it just works well.
I think you've summed it up really well.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Thank you.
And so, what would you say, Felicity, is your favourite piece of work in the exhibition?
Actually, I'm quite torn, because Charlotte's Venus flytraps very much resonate with me and remind me of the time that I was doing sculpture at art school that was completely different, but the shape has something very similar to it. And I love the way it hangs. I love the light that plays on it. Probably either the near one, well, they're very similar, or the blue one. But also, I love the work that's made out of the bottle tops, the milk bottle containers, bottoms, sides. It's the light, the interplay of light, and the fact that they are three-dimensional. I had to stop Charlotte hanging paintings on them.
And Charlotte,
because they stand up on their own. They don't need to support other work. They're not a support for other work. They are sculptures, and they're very beautiful.
She's reminding me that they were sculptures rather than just... I've become so blasé about them.
Yes.
It's just going to stick something else up. And to be honest, I was trying to be commercial. It's time that I grew up and became commercial and tried to sell something.
Yeah.
It's not a commercial exhibition. We're doing it for the fun of exhibiting together
and putting the work out.
And we're getting a really good response.
And
really good comments.
Yeah. And what would you say your favourite piece of work is, Charlotte?
I don't look at it as a favourite piece of work. I like the way the work is within the environment. The way it's, none of it's too obvious, it's not too sparse. I think it's come together really well. Felicity's dark paintings, as I said before, and my sort of light sculptures. And so what I like is, I think it needs to be seen as one piece. So what I like, my favourite bit, is that it's one piece.
Yes. It all hangs together really well.
Mm.
But and yet it's completely different technically.
Yeah.
And a lot of the ideas are completely different.
Mm.
It hangs
Yeah.
in this amazing setting. And it's changed completely as the day has worn on.
I suppose I quite like Felicity's piece at the end, the white one, which is really an expensive, pricey piece. And here it is hanging on a couple of pieces of wire on a horrible divide. But behind it, instead of a wall and it looking very precious, you have this gorgeous green grass. And there's nothing much growing up there. It's May, but all the shrubs up there have lost their flowers. So it's got a terrific backdrop, a natural backdrop. And she's done a natural painting that's a collage, but it becomes unnatural because it's purely white. This gives it real life, so it's a good spot.
Yeah.
Come on with me. So you cut it into how many bits?
2 or 3. I ripped out all the bits I didn't like. And kept the bits I did.
And these?
That was the very first one.
Of the Parthenon series?
Of the Parthenon series. But there's some on parchment that I'd already done on thick paper.
And what's he called?
Where's Dad?
He doesn't, none of these, they're just Parthenon 1, 2, 3 and 4. And each one is individual, but they're completely individual, but they sit together. I always think of Shakespeare when I see the second one, but actually it's very specifically from the Parthenon. It's a centaur, the Battle of the Centaurs.